So, what happens when the thing you laugh at the most ends up being smarter than everybody around it? Well, for today, we're going to be stepping into a story with feathers, pride, and a whole lot of attitude. It's called Weedah the Mocking Bird, and it's one of those folk tales where humor it does the heavy lifting. On the surface, it's playful, but underneath, it's about cleverness, survival, ego, and the way intelligence can hide itself inside things people underestimate. So, with that being said, let's get on to the story. Weeduh was playing a great trick on the black fellows who lived near him. He had built himself a number of grass nunas, more than 20. So, if you're wondering what that is, that's just basically a small hut or shelter and a bush camp made from bark, leaves, and tree branches. Had to look that one up. My knowledge is pretty good, but not that good. He made fires before each to make it look as if someone lived in the nunos. First, he would go into one nuno, or humpy, and cry like a baby, then to another and laugh like a child. Then, in turn, as he went the round of the humpies, he would sing like a maiden, korabori, like a man, call out in a quavering voice like an old man, and in a shrill voice like an old woman. In fact, imitate any sort of voice he had never heard, and imitate them so quickly in succession that anyone passing would think there was a great crowd of blacks in that camp. Yo, this guy is nasty work. Almost wants me to say he's racist, but we'll let that alone. His object was to entice as many strange blackfellows into his camp as he could, one at a time. Then he would kill, then he would kill them and gradually gain the whole country round for his own. His chance was when he managed to get a single blackfellow into his camp, which he very often did. Then by his cunning, he always gained his end, and the blackfellow's death. This was how he attained that end. A blackfellow, probably separated from his fellows in the excitement of the chase, would be returning home alone, passing within earshot of Weedah's camp. He would be in earshot of Weedah's camp. He would hear the various voices and wonder what tribe that could be there. Curiosity would induce him to come near. He would probably peer into camp, and only seeing Weedah standing alone would advise towards him. Weedah would be standing in a little distance from a big glowing fire, where he would wait until the strange blackfellow came quite close to him. Then he would ask him what he wanted. The stranger would say he had heard many voices and had wondered what tribe it could be, so had come near to find out. Weedah would say, "But only I am here. How could you have heard voices? See, look round. I am alone." Bewildered, the stranger would look around and say in a puzzled tone of voice, "Where are they all gone? As I came, I heard babies crying, men calling, and women laughing. Many voices I heard, but you only I see. And only I am here. The wind must have stirred the branches of the bala trees, and you must have thought it was the wailing of children, the laughing of the gugaragug you heard, and thought it the laughter of women, and mine must have been the voice of men that you heard." So there was another word I had to look up, which is the gugaragaga, now called a kookaburra, and it's an Australian bird that has, like, I guess apparently a really loud laughter, but apparently it sounds like a human. And the crazy thing about the bird is that it actually looks like an eagle. So if you just wanted to know what that is, now you can go look up a kookaburra and you can see what it is. So, alone in the bush, as the shadows fall, A man breathed strange fancies. See, by the light of this fire, where are your fancies now? No women laugh, no babies cry, only I, Weedah, talk. As Weedah was walking, as Weedah was talking, he kept edging the stranger towards the fire. When they were quite close to it, he turned swiftly, seized him, and threw him right into the middle of the blaze. This scene was repeated time after time, until at last ranks of the black fellows living round the camp of Weedah began to get thin. Weeduh, the eagle hawk, determined to fathom the mystery, for as yet the black fellows had no clue as to how or where their friends had disappeared. Weeduh, when Weeduh, his cousin, returned to his camp no more, made up his mind to get on his track and follow it, until at length he solved the mystery. After following the track of Weeduh, as he had chased the kangaroo to where he had slain it, on he followed his homeward trail. Over stony ground he tracked him, and through sand, across plains, and through scrub. At last in a scrub, and still on the track of Weeduh, he heard the sounds of many voices, babies crying, women singing, men talking. Peering through the bush, finding the track, took him nearer the spot whence came the sounds. He saw the grass huppies. Who can these be? He thought. The track led him right into the camp, where alone Weeduh was to be seen. Weeduh advanced towards him and asked where were the people whose voices he had heard as he came through the bushes. Now, I'm not going to lie. I was trying to think of where you might see a similar situation like this, and the only spot I could think of, and my apologies, I'm just saying, the only spot where I've seen things like this happen is at a bar and with women and running around, kind of flirting with dudes, shaking wiggling a little tail and whatever, and trying to get drinks bought. A lot different than getting thrown into a fire, but you get what I mean. Which, honestly, I gave up on that a long time ago. Plus, the bar scenes is dead anyway, so no worries. Weedah said, "How can I tell you? I know of no people. I live alone." "But," said Mulyan the eager hawk, "I heard babies crying, women laughing, and men talking, not one, but many. And I alone am here. Ask of your cards what trick they played you, or perhaps your eyes fail you now. Can you see any but me? Look for yourself. And if, as indeed it seems, you are only here, what did you with Weeduh, my cousin, and where are my friends? Many are their trails that I see coming into this camp, but none going out. And if you alone live here, you alone can answer me. What know I of you or your friends? Nothing. Ask of the winds that blow. Ask of Weeduh the moon, who looks down on the earth by night. Ask of ye the sun, that looks down by day. But ask not Weeduh, who dwells alone and knows not of your friends." But as Weeduh was talking, he was carefully edging Mulyan towards the fire. See, it's almost like that nice little young filly, kind of giving you the eyes and shaking the tail feathers. It's dangerous. I'm telling you, it's dangerous. Also, curiosity. It's a killer. Mulyan, the eagle, too, was cunning and not easy to trap. He saw a blazing fire in front of him. Saw the track of his friend behind him. He saw Weeduh was edging him towards the fire, and it came to him in a moment the thought that if the fire could speak, well, could it tell where were his friends? But the time was not yet. Was not yet come to show that he had fathomed the mystery. So he affected to fall into the trap. But when they reached the fire, before Weedah had time to act his usual part, with a mighty grip, Mulyan, the eagle hawk, seized him, saying, "Even as you serve Birga, the hawk, my cousin, and my friends, so now serve I you." And right into the middle of the blazing fire he threw him. Then he turned homewards in haste to tell the blackfellows that he had solved the fate of their friends, which had so long have been a mystery. When he was some distance from the Weedah's camp, she heard the sound of a thunderclap. But it was not thunder, it was the bursting of the back of Weedah's head, which had burst with a bang as of a thunderclap. And as it burst, out from his remains had risen a bird, Weedah the Mocking Bird, which bird to this day has a hole at the back of his head, just in the same place as Weedah, the blackfellow's head had burst, and whence the bird came forth. To this day, the Weedah makes grass playgrounds through which he runs, imitating, as he plays in quick succession, any voices he has ever heard, from the crying of a child to the laughing of a woman, from the mewing of a cat to the barking of a dog, and hence his name, Weedah the Mocking Bird. So, as you can see, this story reminds us that, intelligence does not always announce itself loudly, like most, but sometimes the smartest thing in the room is a thing everybody dismissed first, which is in the same sense that, like, I was talking about with the same thing with, like, going into a bar. What's the first thing that everybody should miss? Everybody does it. You know what I mean? We all want to show our wealth and we all want to have fun. But what's the one thing that you can do? Is just make sure that you have fun. Period. Keep to yourself. Enjoy yourself. That's all you got to do. No need to go chase after this or that. No need to, like, run around like a chicken with your head cut off. Go buy your drinks. Sit down. Enjoy them with your kinfolk or your buddies or your gal pals or whatever it is, and keep it pushing. That's all. So, with that being said, and speaking of stories about quiet wisdom, the next time when we get back, we're going to be stepping into The Aged Mother, which is a Japanese folktale about sacrifice, aging, and the heartbreaking truth that society often ignores the people carrying its deepest wisdom, which is always true. But until next time, take care.